Todd Newton, and as many of you know, I've been a wrestling fan since I was just a kid. I mean, come on. There's nothing better than a bunch of grown, buffed up men beating the daylights out of each other in the middle of the ring, except women beating the daylights out of each other in the middle of the ring. So we here at E figured, what the heck? You know, let's go ahead and follow a trio of these brawling beauties around for a little while. Their names are Tori Wilson, Sharmell Sullivan, and Stacy Keebler, but they're better known to World Championship Wrestling fans as Tori, Paisley, and Miss Hancock. From the WCW Training Center in Atlanta to late-night road stops on the way to packed arenas, these tough heroines will show you the wild realities of women's wrestling. And along the way, we'll meet some other WCW stars, some trainers, the sexy Nitro Girl dancers, and fans just like you and me. Tell you what, I can't wait to get started, huh?
And we are having a unique look in the women's bathroom.
I think it's actually a good sign for the ages to show that women are actually allowed to get into the ring.
It's like a soap opera for guys, I think.
Yeah.
Just like we can get into our own soap opera instead of stupid little events they got for the girls.
Yeah, you get interested in the story and you want to see what happens next.
Tear it off! Whoa! Is she naked?
Kids love it, adults love it. A lot of people that we consider closet wrestlers watch it at home. They don't like to admit that they watch it, but they will come in here and they'll get excited about it too.
I love it. I think it's cool. It shows that girls can do anything boys can do.
I know when I was a young girl, I didn't think I would be able to follow my dreams, and it came true.
Photojournalist Michael Lano has followed the sport since he was a boy.
Wrestling roots go back to the carnival days, back in the early 1900s, what was called ad shows, or challenging people out of the audience to fight somebody, marks or plants or what have you.
In those early days, men dominated the profession, but it didn't take long for women to climb into the ring. Early women wrestlers included the Fabulous Moolah and Nell Stewart, the 1950s Marilyn Monroe of pro wrestling. When Ted Turner founded the WCW in the late 80s, a whole new breed of women emerged. Some were still classically trained, like Medusa. But the male wrestlers' sexy escorts, known as valets, were gaining their own followings. There was also the addition of a cheerleader-like dance team called the Nitro Girls.
That's why I watch WCW instead of WWF, because they have Nitro Girls.
A lot of the women in wrestling aren't the classically trained women wrestler. There's a saying in wrestling that it takes you 7 years of wrestling in front of people before you should even be considered a wrestler. And now it's so popular because they've gotten models and people from muscular fitness world who really had no thought of going into pro wrestling, but they've brought them into it, given them some training, and they're on television either as valets or bodyguards.
WCW has the best who can win, plain and simple.
My name is Tori Wilson, and I don't know what you call what I do. I'm a wrestler slash valet slash vixen slash whatever's needed.
I'm on a roll here, honey. If there's anybody in the building man enough to stand up to the franchise, well, come on down.
Our rule on camera is to antagonize the crowd, and we have a lot of fun doing that. Tori's become very good at doing it. I don't know if that's a little bit of that Miss Boise, Idaho being pushed to the side, and some more of the real Tori Wilson coming out.
She's on the back of Mike Awesome.
I've always wanted to do something with, acting and modeling and, whatever in the entertainment industry. I never, thought or dreamed it would be in wrestling. I competed in fitness competitions a few years back, and I went with a couple friends to a house show and met Kevin Nash and Eric Bischoff and everybody backstage, and Kevin somehow got a hold of my home number and called me about a week later and asked if I was interested in doing something small, and it just kept building and building. We've been doing more and more lately just because they're trying to get the women more and more involved.
My name is Sharmell Sullivan. I work for World Championship Wrestling, and on the show I'm known as Paisley. I was touring with James Brown when a really good friend of mine, Tigress, told me that they were having auditions to be a Nitro Girl.
Before we became with WCW, I was a CPA, believe it or not. But I always danced like my whole entire life. I was a Nitro Girl for 2 years before Vince called me up and asked me to do the role as Tigress. This is very comfortable. It's stretchy. It moves when I do. And it's Tigress wear.
I was known as the Nitro Girl Storm. So I did that for about a year, and then the writers called me and said, we're going to make you a character on the show. They actually called me on a Friday and said, Monday, you're going to be Paisley. Go buy a purple outfit, and that was it.
My name is Stacy Keebler. I'm Miss Hancock on WCW Wrestling, and I started out as a valet. Now I'm getting a little more involved wrestling a little bit, but I'm not considered a wrestler.
Major Guns has foreign objects concealed in her top that Miss Hancock doesn't have.
I never really said that I wanted to be a wrestler, involved in wrestling, but at the age of 3, I started dancing. I was involved in tap, ballet, and jazz. My parents got me a little bit more involved in commercials and theater. I entered the Nitro Girl contest to be one of the Nitro Girls, the dancers, and ended up winning out of a national search.
It was difficult for some of the people because Stacy came on after winning the contest and was immediately put into a character role. So she only stayed a Nitro Girl, I don't know, maybe a month or so, if that. So she just basically blew up, but she never let it go to her head. She stayed very level-headed and very, very sweet. So, you know, you can't help but to like her.
My parents and my family, all my aunts and uncles, my cousins, they all tape it or watch it every Monday night. Monday and Wednesdays are just like Stacy night. Like, my whole family is so supportive. They just back me 100%.
But not all parents are wrestling fans.
It's definitely not the path that they chose for me. I have a degree in mathematics, and I was headed to engineering school to get a second degree in biomedical engineering before I started touring as a background dancer. So there was sort of a conundrum because both of my parents are educators. My brother's a lawyer, you know, my sister-in-law's a lawyer. So everybody sort of wanted me to go the safe route, but they definitely support me. They watch me, and my mom gets a kick out of it now, so it's great.
When I first started, my mom was really into it, you know, watched me all the time and stuff, but lately I've been doing a lot more risque things, so she chooses not to watch anymore.
The take from Billy Kidman with Billy and Tori together.
I have 2 separate wardrobes. The one I wear on TV, it's very risque, just very different. I'm not the kind of person that would walk around, you know, throwing my boobs around and trying to get attention to help someone win or whatever.
Well, Tori, I have to say that when I first got involved in this job, I watched the show before, and I was like, oh, I wonder what Tori's going to be like. And when I came backstage, we became instant friends. Right now on the show, we're both heels, and I think that maybe it's stereotypical to think that, you know, a beautiful blonde girl would be a snob in real life, and we're just normal people.
Paisley's a bad girl, so you know this is an acting stretch for me because I'm a good girl. But it's more fun to be a bad girl. I like the heat that you get from the audience.
Sometimes we're out there in front of 10, 20,000 people. It's just a rush to have all those people watching you.
But not everyone thinks having more women in the ring is a good thing.
I wouldn't say so much the fact that they're women is why we worry, but the fact that they're not trained yet. A lot of them are so-called green.
They can put me on my back any day of the week, any night. You know, I'm all for that, but as far as getting in the ring with me, are you kidding me? Look at that. That's the largest arm in the world. How long do you think they last against that?
It's sex appeal and sex sells, especially today in wrestling.
I think the crowd likes to see women, you know, they love to see catfights. The place pops whenever 2 girls start at it, and yeah, definitely there's going to be a lot more women brawling in the ring.
Coming up, we'll meet our girls in Atlanta for an exclusive peek at Wrestling Boot Camp. We'll take a road trip to Albuquerque for a ringside seat at a never-before-televised house show. Plus, we'll watch a live Nitro event come to life, go backstage with the wrestlers, and hang with the Nitro girls. All that and more when the women of the WCW returns.
Welcome back to Women of the WCW. Todd Newton here, pumping the big weights at World Gym in Marina del Rey, California. And you know, friends, for a pro wrestler, there's nothing more important than proper training. So what do you say we catch up with our girls in Atlanta to see if they're ready to climb into that ring, huh? Let's go on down to Atlanta. Yeah. Thank you, girls. I almost felt like I was doing that myself.
Tori, Paisley.
What is Paisley doing?
Oh! And Miss Hancock may be as physically gifted as they are gorgeous, but they weren't born knowing how to pile drive. So,
We're at the power plant every Wednesday and Thursday, 2 days a week. All day, both days.
The place to be is right here at the power plant in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ready. Y'all say ready when I say ready. You know that. Ready. Ready.
the power plant is ground zero for the WCW's wrestling women. Training may look like fun and games, but trust me, this is no workout for wimps.
The first day we were at the power plant, I think I cried like a million times.
Typical day at the power plant. All right, we're in here at 9:30. We stretch, we warm up. We may go through some drills, running in place, push-ups, up and down off the mat.
Down, back, belly, get up, get up.
Then we get in the ring, we'll do some sit-ups, we'll do monkey flips, we'll run the ropes.
Hit the rope, Stacy, go.
Run, hit him, run.
Come on.
And then we take that first back bump of the day, which wakes you up.
Back bump. Come on, Tori, up.
And, you know, we break for lunch, we come back, and Medusa may start teaching us new moves. So it's just constant, non-stop action.
It sucks. It's so hard. Yeah, they definitely are kicking our butt.
The woman overseeing all of this action is Deborah Miceli, better known to wrestling fans as Medusa. It's her job to turn these rookie wrestlers into titans of terror.
Training is very hard. You're either going to like me or you're going to dislike me. Come on, Tori! Go! Come on! Go! What we're doing is taking the group of girls and seeing what each girl has. Knees up! Come on! There you go! Either you have it or you don't. Bigger steps, honey! Come on! Bigger, bigger, bigger steps! And it's sad and it's not cruel.
Medusa, she's a little hard on us at times, but I think that because of her being hard on us, I do things that I would not normally try.
She is such a bad girl. She's really tough.
Medusa, oh my goodness, she is the best. She makes us go over and over and over and over things again and again.
Excuse me, get back in the corner. Which way do you turn? If you're gonna move, okay, just checking.
In the ring, you only have one chance. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing and you do it right. That's Medusa's job. She's awesome at it.
In every move that there is, there's 10 ways to counter it. Or there's 10 ways to make it look better. There's 10 ways to fall. Like I said, you all will establish your own way of doing things. Women's bodies are different, so they have to learn how to fall differently than men, and I'm there to show them all that. You're gonna hit your chest, girls, but it doesn't hurt. That's why your hands are bent and keeping you up from doing that. That's why I have you doing it this way. The guys, oh, I hate this bump. The guys do it this way. Oh, wait a minute. Or anyway, they do it one hand, they go, ah! And that isn't right for a girl. I know what a woman goes through. Guys cannot relate to that, so it's really good that I can understand all that. You've got to be tough when you're in here. You can't be a girly girl. Tori's a very, very girly girl. She's a very nice girl. She has a very sweet personality. Tori tries. Come on, Tori, pick your feet up, Tori. Fall backwards, go. Stacy's the same way. She's a very girly girl. Paisley, she's a little more athletic, and she has the knack. It's there. That's something you can't teach somebody. Either they have it or they don't. And she has it.
But there's no room for ego at the power plant. All of the girls have to work hard to get in shape for their shows in the Southwest.
Hey, don't keep your hands to the side like that. You're gonna pop your elbow. If somebody's out of control like that, whatever, just get him back. Chop the out of them. If you fall from a drop kick and you don't land right, you're gonna break your arm.
See, no pain, no gain. I just smashed it into the mat.
With all this intense training, injuries are inevitable, and the women are constantly monitored.
Front bump, front bump.
Okay, you all right?
Out of the ring. 5, 6.
I'm really tough.
After determining that Tori was merely lightheaded, the doctor released her. But going home is not an option. With the show coming up in a matter of days, training is vital.
That's my biggest problem, is if you get a little bump or you hurt, so get up. You know, get over it. Everyone watch Tori.
Why did I do it wrong now that she said watch me?
Despite the grueling schedule, emotional strain, and physical hardships, Medusa still feels these girls can be pushed harder.
2 days a week is not nearly enough. It's not enough. Girls complain that that's too much. It's not. It takes years. And we should add another day, is what I feel. Get your ass up.
Coming up, the girls hit the road for the upcoming Nitro show. Let's hope they're ready for the challenge.
This is a typical day right here. Getting lost and not knowing where
are we going? Why did we turn around?
Welcome back. You're watching the Women of the WCW. I'm Todd Newton. Now, as you can probably imagine, it's a hard, lonely life on the road for women wrestlers. I mean, a different gym, different hall, a different mall every week. Right now, the girls are in Albuquerque, so let's catch up with Tori, Paisley, and Miss Hancock. You know, just your typical girls next door.
We've seen how women of the WCW are whipped into shape back at home base in Atlanta. But even when they're hopping from city to city and match to match, training doesn't stop.
On the road for